Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of Prestige Liquids. My name is Andrew, and as always, it is fantastic to have you here with me again on another whiskey review video. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for joining me along my journey so far, and if you're new to the channel, then please make sure you hit the bell notification and the subscription button right now so that you can stay up to date with all future content. Well now, on to the show. Alright, here we go. Let's get started on another video. But before we get into today's actual review, I would just like to give a quick thank you out there to all my old and more recent subscribers. We recently just hit the 400 subscriber mark. Again, thank you so much for all your support. If you have not yet done so, I know I've mentioned this in the intro already, but please make sure you hit the bell notification and the subscription button so that you can stay up to date with all future content, and you will obviously be helping the channel grow even further. So again, thank you all so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. But time for a whiskey review. That's why we're here. Today I am going to be reviewing the classic Glenlivet 12-year-old. So let's pour some in right now. Now, I believe that this has been aged in, I think it's both American oak and European oak. If I am wrong about that, please feel free to blast me in the comment section down below. This is being bottled at 40% ABV. Now, obviously, this is a Scottish Speyside whiskey. Glenlivet really needs no introduction. It really is one of those distilleries that have just been around for a very long time, and their reputation obviously precedes them. So let's get started on the review. And obviously, before I do that, I should also mention aged 12 years old. Alrighty, on the nose, let's see what we get. So cheers. Alright, so the nose, it's very fresh, very vibrant and fruity. It's also quite grassy as well. There is a certain mineral element to it. But yeah, definitely like freshly cut lawn, heavy grain influence, subtle tropical fruits, vanilla, and a little bit of oak as well. There is also a subtle amount of spice, but it's not very strong. It is a note that you definitely need, that you kind of need to search for. Once you're familiar with it, you'll be able to pick it, but it is a subtle note. Actually, I think I might be getting a touch of mango as well. Alrighty, let's move on to the palate and let's see what we get. So cheers. Alright, first of all, let's talk mouthfeel. It's quite thin. There is not a whole lot of texture going on in the glass. It's quite thin, it's quite watery. I mean, you generally expect that from a 40% ABV whiskey in general. Similar profile to the nose, you're getting those grassy elements. There's that gentle fruitiness as well. I'm not getting so much of that mango note at the moment, but it is more of a citrus, yeah, more of a citrus vibe that's coming through. It's quite lemony. So again, the vanilla, oak. There's a little bit of milk chocolate. Very soft, but it's there. There's a certain sugary sweetness to it as well. Again, orchard fruits, apples, pears, which is pretty much synonymous with most Speyside styles of scotches. Moving along to the finish, again, much of the same. It's quite easy, it's very mellow, it's soft. It has a nice fruity roundness to it as well, again mixing in with that grassy element. So one thing that you can guarantee from this whiskey is consistency from beginning to end. It really doesn't throw anything different at you, but at the same time it's not going to absolutely amaze you either. And this is where I think, as my journey into whiskies has developed, I have started to become, I don't want to use the word disappointed. That's probably not really the right word to use, but this particular whiskey, the Glenlivet 12-year-old, I find for me now it just does not really cover the flavor profile that I'm after. I've come to that point now where I would only really see this as an entry-level whiskey, absolutely perfect for beginners, as it is, don't get me wrong, it's a very enjoyable whiskey. The flavor balance is very good, again, and it is an enjoyable whiskey, but for experienced drinkers, it doesn't really offer you anything different. You're always going to be getting what is essentially a typical Speyside whiskey. There is not, and I don't really mean to make this come across in a bad way, there is just nothing amazing about this whiskey. Unfortunately, I personally feel that as my journey has progressed, the flavor profile of this starts to become a little bit boring. But having said that though, there is hope, because this thing right here, the Glenlivet 12-year-old illicit still, it is non-chill filtered, it is also bottled at 48% ABV, and the contrast in flavor and quality in this whiskey, it goes above and beyond of this one. I think this is a whiskey that will it's pretty much generally there to satisfy, say, beginners into whiskeys, and for people who just do not want a challenging whiskey. This one, however, gives you the best of both worlds. It is a perfect entry-level whiskey, but at the same time it offers something different as well, or a little bit extra oomph for experienced drinkers. For me personally, this is just so much more enjoyable. Now, I am not sure whether the regular 12-year-old is chill filtered or non-chill filtered at all. I do not know off the top of my head. I believe that it is chill filtered, so that probably has stripped some of the texture and the complexity to it, whereas this one here has the advantage of a more natural presentation and 8% higher in the ABV, so you will automatically be getting a much more flavorsome whiskey, something that's going to offer you a little bit more of an experience. So obviously they're both worth a shot. This is something that I think at least one point in your whiskey journey you need to try. It's not going to hurt having it on your shelf, because it is a recognizable brand. If you're wanting to offer something to family and friends that are getting into whiskeys, this is something that they will probably recognize, especially if they are fans of the Mummy like I am, which would probably be like your first exposure to this. But I think for a slightly higher alcohol percentage, and also just a little bit more in price, if you are able to find any more bottles of this available, definitely go for the illicit still. This is just absolutely amazing. But I think that's enough of my rant. I don't really need to say anything more about that. All in all, like I said, the standard Glenlivet 12, regardless, is a very enjoyable whiskey. Unfortunately for me, as I'm starting to progress even further into my whiskey journey, it just doesn't cover the bases that I'm looking for in my whiskeys anymore. But I will be happy enough to finish this off. Whether I probably will not go out and actually buy another bottle of it unless it's gifted to me. Obviously I'm not going to turn it down, but there are, I think, many more other whiskies I plan to try before I consider buying this one again. But yeah, that's it. My name is Andrew, and I shall see you all again on the next video. KIPPIS. Oh, you're still here. Well, why not consider continuing on with some more content and subscribing? I'll see you next time. Bye bye.